Okay, so in this lesson, we're looking at how to do the control from the mount position, and we're also going to look at one submission that we apply from there, the Americana arm lock. Okay, so let's get down to business. Mount position. The advantage of the mount position is that I can strike my opponent and he can't strike me back. Also, he has some very predictable reactions when he's on the bottom, especially if he hasn't trained in Jiu Jitsu. So those reactions give me, a few offensive tactics that I can employ. But before we start really going for the kill, it's very viable to try to tire the person out and control them. So that's kind of what we're going to look at right now. I really like to stay low on the person and use my body weight on their chest and try to tire them out. So here's kind of what's going on. Rather than be up real nice and high, I'm going to get really close to him and low. When I'm here, I'm going to hook my feet behind his knees. I'm not really straightening my legs out. I'm more like pointing my feet up to the sky, doing little hamstring curls here. And that gives me really, really deep control of his legs here. All right? So if you notice in this position, he is carrying 100% of my body weight. My knees are not even touching the ground. So I wouldn't say it's incorrect to do it like this, but which way do you feel heavier?
The other way by far.
Right. So here. Also, what happens is I'm countering any movement that he does, like an upward movement of his hips, is getting stuffed by my pressure. It's like I'm countering the upward lift that he's creating. Okay? So that's what I'm doing with my legs. Now my arms can be doing a couple different things. Let's turn this way so we can see. My arms can be doing a couple different things. The first, most basic way is just to take what I call airplane base. So my arms are out nice and wide, and you're just literally flying through the sky like an airplane. And this is very beneficial to stop him from pushing you from side to side. 1, 2, 3. Now, this is good against someone your size, maybe a little smaller than you. You're going to have no problem staying on top. When you're up against a giant, what happens is their arms are longer than yours, they're stronger than you, and what happens is even with your arm on the ground, like if he was to push me this way, here I start to lose a position, you see? And once he gets this elbow on the ground, he's going on top of you, okay? So I can never let him get this elbow on the ground here, okay? So rather than just keep my arms spread nice and wide, way to amplify your body weight is to hug his neck and stretch your arm. Okay? This way, not try to push. Look, two things are going on. One, I've got a base, this hand on this side, and this is what's really subtle in the position, the leg work. My opposite foot is really digging to the ceiling here. Why? Because he needs this leg to push off of the ground to create the pressure for the bridge. So, go ahead and do it. Yeah, he's not even moving at all. Look, if it goes the other way, I change my grip. And look, my other foot really deep here. Hip rolled down. Nice base. Okay? This way. This way. Another variation of this is almost the exact same thing, but it kind of enhances it even more as I go underneath his arm like this and stretch. This is a nasty position for him because his arm is totally stretched out away from his body. It becomes very weak in this position. Okay, so notice my arms are pretty much just like they were before. The only difference is I'm underneath his tricep with my arm. And here I don't think he's going to be getting away too easy at all. Just use your leg work. Bam. Okay? If you feel the need to change your grip, you can, but you don't have to unless he's really threatening to bump you the other direction. Okay? So that's staying low, hugging the neck, and basing with your hand. Another thing that might happen is he might put both hands high on your chest and push you off. Okay? So here, look, I can't hug his neck so easy. So what I want to do is I want to swim my arm. 1, 2. Notice I went one hand at a time. The reason I do that is to avoid both of my arms getting trapped to his chest at the same time. For example, push again, please. If I were to go real stiff and try to do this, clamp my arms, yes, now I'm stuck. What's he going to do? Bump me over. You see? So, I'm trying not to ever give him control of both of my hands simultaneously. He pushes, real relaxed, like a spaghetti noodle here. One hand finds the floor, other hand finds the floor, hug the neck. Okay? He pushes again. This little drill you're doing right now makes the guy on the bottom extremely tired. So when it's time to go to submit him, he's going to have a lot less to fend off your attack. Push again, relax, 1, 2, hug the neck. Okay? Here we go. Alright. You might also use that swim that you just did from a low position. For example, he's pushing to the side. Let's say he's really on my arm or something over here. Yeah, I can also swim here. Like if he's bugging, trying to trap my arm, just swim, okay? Every time that I dissolve that grip, he loses all of his ability to push me off. Try the other side. Just relax. Look, when I do my swim, what I'm going to do is, do it again please. I'm going to point my elbow up, wrist down. That's how I do my arm out. If I'm too stiff here, he can trap. He comes over the top, elbow up, wrist down, and swim. I'm going to show you one last variation of this control, and this is a little more advanced, but it's really going to teach you to do the leg work. The real secret with the mount, the arms assist a lot, but the real trick is the leg work, okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to hold him down without even using your hands at all, okay? So, essentially what we're going to do here, slide back real quick, so what we're going to do is we're mounted on top, okay? Assuming that the person is going to try to bump me this way, I'm going to slide my knee out at about a 45-degree angle, and then my opposite hook sets really deep and I roll my hip to the floor, okay? So, I got my knee out, my opposite hip extended, alright? If I were to go the other way, my knee goes out 45 degrees, pretend he's bumping me this direction, knee goes out 45 degrees, opposite hook extends. Alright, so let's take a look at how that works with a person. This is, like I said, a more advanced drill. Once you guys get really adept at controlling with your hands, it's having a tough time. Challenge yourself a little. Just take your hands totally out of the equation and just try to control them with your hips. Can you slide up this way a little bit? Sure. So we can see what's going on. So we'll do it from a couple of different angles so that you can see the leg work from each direction. So what I'm going to do from the top position is I start here with my hooks in. I'm going to put my hands behind my back real slow. He's going to pick a side to go to. Okay, watch. My knee comes out. My opposite hook really points to the sky here.
Feels very heavy right here on the hip.
And what you didn't see was I moved my left leg free to give me a base. If I leave my leg in close here, oh, he bumps me over. Right? So, let's go on this side here. So, my knee comes out. Then I hook with the opposite side. Try the other way. Knee comes out. Hook with the opposite side. Let's turn a little bit. Knee comes out. Deep hook with the opposite side. Knee comes out. Deep hook with the opposite side. Knee comes out. Deep hook with the opposite side. I'm not even using my hands here. Okay, go ahead and get away a little bit. Let's go. Oh, he got me. But that's the point of the drill. Keep going. Using my head a little bit more. Look, it's not easy, even with no hands. Keep going. Okay. You add your hands to that, and then, it's a lot better, your mount position. So, that gives you guys a lot of stuff to work on in terms of control. Once we learn how to control the guy and tire him out, okay, now we've got a couple of attack options that we're going to look at. Can you lay flat on your back, please? Americana arm lock. Standard variation, basic variation, goes like this. And it's predicated off of this response. If the person doesn't train Jiu Jitsu, he's only going to have 3 reactions when you're mounted on him. He's either going to push, he's going to roll to his stomach, or he's going to cover his face. Why? Because he doesn't want to get hit. So, here's what's going to happen. Slide back a little bit. Here's what's going to happen. He's covering his face. The arm that I want to get, I'm going to go with a cross hand grip, making a monkey grip, and sinking my elbow to his chest. At the same time I do that, I'm going on the outside of his forearm with this hand. The whole point here is I don't want him to be able to bend his arm, or straighten his arm. For example, if I just try to push his arm to the floor, it's very easy for him to extend it. Okay, very easy to extend it, and he's just using my energy against me essentially here. So, what I want to do instead is keep my arm bent and concentrate my elbow to his sternum and just slide my elbow down until my elbow reaches right on the side of his head. So it's like this. Be careful in training not to elbow your friend in the face. He's not going to be very happy with you, okay? So nice and slow. You make the monkey grip, my elbow is connected to his sternum, a little shake here, and I go down. Now, when I do so, I need to either put a big hook in on this side or just shift my weight back to the side a little bit. The reason I do this, There's going to be more room to attack the arm here. Okay? So, I keep the wrist on the ground. I come underneath the elbow, grab my own wrist, and now I slide his arm back, lift up, and keep his wrist down. Very slow. He's going to tap when he feels the pressure. Right like so. One more time. Monkey grip, elbow down, next to his head. I need to change my base a little bit here by moving my weight back. Come underneath and grab the wrist. The most common mistake with the Americana by far is the grip like this. So here it's very easy to straighten his arm out. Like that. You'll lose the grip. So basically I don't want to go here. Always 5 fingers around. Another big detail here is the flex of the wrist. I actually hook my arm deep, hook my arm deep. And that makes it very, very challenging for him to get away from the grip. Okay, standard variation. Another very, very good way to get the Americana is from this low position that we talked about. So I'm here, all right, controlling. After I've made him tired a little bit, we're pushing. I feel like he's a little frustrated, he's a little tired. I take his wrist and I pin it here. I'm going to feed his wrist to my hand. My goal here is to come underneath his arm and grab my own wrist. Before I go for the submission, I let his head go. I keep my grip on his wrist, in my wrist. I just let his head go and put my elbow on the ground. I keep my head down. The reason I do that is he could hit me in the face here with his free hand. You don't want to get hit. So I look away from him and keep my head on top of my own wrist. Now it's either big pressure with this hook here, or slide your weight and then make the position here. For self-defense, you could get here, feed. He knows, or he feels like he doesn't want to let you underneath this arm. I'm trying to get under. His elbow is super heavy here. How do I get under? Look, he can only block with that hand. He's got 2 choices. Get punched in the face or block it by raising his elbow up. When he raises his elbow up, that gives you plenty of room to come underneath and make your grip. Once again, keep your hands together and let the head go. Elbow connects right to his neck. Super deep hook on this side, head down looking away. Slide back and lift. Another common mistake in the finish is keeping the wrist up off of the ground. He doesn't really get hurt like this, especially if he's got good flexibility in his shoulder. You need to keep the arm down. Also, it's not just lifting up the elbow, it's sliding it back towards his ribs. That makes the pressure. And I'll stop cranking on his arm because I know he's very uncomfortable. Okay? So there we have control from the mount. A couple different ways. We've got the airplane base, the neck hug, the high swim, very relaxed, the low swim. Okay? We've got no hands, just using the leg work. And then we've got Americana. Standard variation from a high position, and then the low variation, neck hug. Okay? Good job.